I'm Zepyhr Teachout. I'm a law professor, and I'm running to be the next Attorney General of the state of New York. We in New York have this extraordinary, big-hearted, big-brained, ambitious, loving, compassionate, open state. And yet our government has been just this rolling scandal of corruption cases, sexual predators being pushed under the rug, and then most recently these serious sexual assault stories about our last Attorney General. This is totally unacceptable. We have to close the door on this history of corruption and sexual assault and sexual harassment and the backdoor politics that is really poisoning our extraordinary state. I'm a constitutional and anti-corruption law professor, and I have spent my whole life fighting against corruption and fighting for a democracy where everybody has a voice and an economy where everybody has dignity. The next Attorney General of New York may be the single most important law enforcement officer standing up against the lawlessness and corruption of the Trump administration and facing head-on this crisis in our democracy where people feel like the same laws don't apply to the rich and the poor. Just 3 days after Donald Trump took office, I joined an amazing team of lawyers suing Trump for violating the Emoluments Clause of the Constitution. And when I am the next Attorney General, I will use all the resources of our law and history to fight against the lawlessness and corruption of the Trump administration. In 2014, Governor Andrew Cuomo shut down a commission called the Moreland Commission that was investigating corruption in Albany. When he shut it down, I spoke out, saying it needed to continue. And I even wrote a public letter to then Attorney General Eric Schneiderman, insisting that he use the full power of his office to stand up against Cuomo's efforts to stop corruption investigations. It didn't earn me a lot of friends in Albany, but that's who I am, and that is who I will be as your Attorney General. We in New York need to insist on an Attorney General who is independent. We have a problem with corporate monopolies in this country, and I've been on the leading lines fighting against big banks and big corporate monopolies like Spectrum and your cable company for the last 10 years. After the financial crisis, I co-founded a grassroots group dedicated to breaking up big banks and using the tools, the legal tools of antitrust to take on corporate monopolies and to put more financial criminals in jail. The other thing that I think is really important for the next Attorney General of New York to do, even though she won't have as many legal powers in this area, is stand up and be the leading voice in the country against our crisis of mass incarceration and structural racism in our criminal justice system. The next Attorney General should be standing up for speedy trials, against cash bail, for discovery reform, for marijuana legalization, and against a kind of culture of treating people like they don't matter because of the color of their skin, because of an addiction problem they may have, or because of the debt they may carry. We got to, and we can, with courage and passion and conviction, open a new window on a new era in New York politics, one based on openness, independence, courage, truth, and justice above all.